Yes, this is an island surrounded by water, big water, ocean water. Trust me, I'm like a smart person. I'm very consistent. I'm a very stable genius. I had the best words. Tolerated. I know words. Mike Pounds. I hope they now go and take a look at the oranges of the investigation. But there's no better word than stupid. Anonymous, really anonymous. I'm very highly educated. One of the wettest we've ever seen from the standpoint of water. I had the best words. God bless the United States.
Now witness the firepower of this fully armed and operational battle station.
And why their due process rights are being so flagrantly and horrifically violated.
Around the nation, Waldorf Nation. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the show. I have another guest today. A little bit of an update here. Welcome back to the show, Ron Placone.
Hey, Jeff. Thanks so much for having me back and for doing an update on this story and for keeping it on your radar. It is very, very important.
Very important.
I just want to mention something really quick, if you don't mind. If I seem a little out of it or at any point to anyone listening and watching, I am getting through COVID. I unfortunately caught COVID. If you recall from last week, I'm supposed to be in Iceland right now doing shows. I am not. I had to postpone those shows because I got COVID. So I am feeling a lot better and I'm getting through it. But yeah, I appreciate everyone bearing with me. But Antitrust Summer cannot wait. We still got to fight this thing. So
hell yeah. And by the way, vaccines, good. That's probably why you feel a lot better.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have to dive into it too much, especially since I know, like they kind of freak out if you even talk about it. But I guess since I'm just talking about my experience, I only had really bad symptoms for a day. Yeah. And I only had a temperature for a day. I feel a little out of it. I feel a little fatigued. But that's basically been what I've had throughout the entire duration. So I just had one bad day and then a whole lot of pretty mild symptoms. I've not tested since. So, I mean, I could be negative at this point. I'm going to test soon. And I'm just going to take it from there. I mean, I don't, the one cool thing is everything I have to do can be done from home and completely remote.
Yeah, I know.
So I don't really, and I'm not, needing to go anywhere because I'm supposed to just be in Iceland doing shows. so, I don't, and my wife got it too. And she had a similar experience. But anyway, so thank you for that. And,
I hope you feel better.
Story. Thanks, man. Yeah. It's not been fun, but we're getting through it.
Generally not. All right. So since you're not feeling the greatest, let's dive in to what you're here, and then let you go back and get some rest and do some recovery. But you are here for a very important reason, and that is to talk about an update to Antitrust Summer. So Antitrust Summer is a campaign to force Congress to vote on a couple of bills to help break up the big tech monopolies. In fact, the group behind it is launching a new campaign to push these bills. This is Senate Bill 2992 and Senate 27110, or S27110. And as we've talked about earlier with Ron, these bills have massive bipartisan support. However, it's not going to do any good if Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer doesn't put them on the floor. Yeah. So now, in order to increase that pressure, the group Fight for the Future, doing great work in regards to privacy and breaking up some of these monopolies, they have hired 2 mobile billboards to drive around Chuck Schumer's houses in Brooklyn and Washington, playing John Oliver's. Oh, of course, yeah, of course. To be fair, you got to have one in DC, you got to have one home. I actually understand that, but it would make me feel better if really it wasn't a house, if it was like an apartment or something. Like make them live in like a little 1-room bungalow, you know.
It should be a dorm. They should all have
or yeah, like a dorm room or something.
They all get dorm rooms.
Yeah, there you go. Dorms for Congress. Dorms for Congress. That would do a lot. Oh, public housing, Ron. Make them live in public housing. Therefore, hey, if you're worried about them not funding public housing, this is a perfect opportunity, because you know that they will immediately fund public housing as soon as they are forced to live in it.
Yeah, exactly. Imagine how much better.
NIMBY these nuts, bitch. NIMBY these nuts. I'm not in the mood for Congress, if you can tell.
It's a very, very frustrating time, Jeff. That's why I actually tweeted that earlier. I was like, yeah, I'm a little bummed out that I got to miss Iceland and, I have COVID. But at least the news is great. At least the news has just been so wonderful.
Trust me, we're going hard on the news. But all right. So now the billboard, getting back to that. So you mentioned John Oliver did a fantastic piece on the antitrust bills. And so, look, John Oliver, can do some excellent work on some of this stuff. And so now the billboard truck direct viewer to MakeSchumerWatchJohnOliver.com, a website where anyone can tweet a link to this segment. And I'm gonna show you a picture here of the bus, right? Okay, so that's what it looks like, or not the bus, sorry, the billboard truck. That's awesome. Well, of course.
Is that when it comes to this issue, they really nailed it. And a lot of other outlets have nailed it too. Just breaking down these bills and what they do and why they're important. We broke it down on this show, why these bills are so important. And look, I know that it is very hard right now because there is so much going on that it's easy to just be like, antitrust legislation, whatever. We got to put a pin in that. But that's what they want us to do because they really like it, Jeff, when we don't make them keep their promises. They really like that. And we see what happens when we don't make them keep their promises. Like when they promise to codify something into law for years and years and years and years, and then they never get around to it. We see what happens.
But excuses, Ron. There's so many excuses. There's the parliamentarian. There's Joe Manchin. There's Kirsten Sinema. Blah blah blah. Excuses. We're tired of excuses, Ron. I'm fucking tired of it. I'm sick of it. Let's make them do something for goddamn change.
We got to get every single win we can, especially right now. So again, everyone, if you haven't already, go to antitrustsummer.com. It takes about 40 seconds. It goes straight to your elected officials. It demands that they take action on these antitrust bills. Chuck Schumer promised a vote this week. We have not seen anything. We've not seen anything. And it was last week, technically. We still not seen anything because it was the week of the 20th. We've still not seen anything. And here's what's going to happen. I know we talked about this last week, but just to reiterate, if they go on vacation, well, they're going to go on vacation, but if they don't act on this before they go on vacation, what's going to happen is they're going to be in midterm mode when they get back, and they're not going to act on this. And Chuck Schumer would prefer it that way. Why? Because he has daughters who are lobbyists for big tech. One works with Meta, which is Facebook. The other is a straight-up Amazon lobbyist. All right, so he has so many conflicts of interest when it comes to big tech that he would love to just kind of sit on these things and just let them go away. We have to make them act. We have to scream to get these policies passed. According to Reuters, it has the votes to pass. There's enough support from both Republicans and Democrats because everyone across the political, well, yeah, but look, everyone across the political spectrum, not even just Republicans, Democrats, but left, right, whatever, everyone agrees big tech has way too much freaking power. We don't agree on all the things to do about it, but we all agree that they have too much power. And we all agree on a lot of basic antitrust legislation. Look, and we talked about this last time on the show, too. You know, there is a history of antitrust in this country, even through people who politically I have virtually nothing in common with. I mean, hey, they broke up AT&T under Reagan's watch, for crying out loud. And look at what happened when they broke up AT&T. Well, we got things like the answering machine, the modem, long-distance calling got way cheaper. We don't even know how much we're being held back right now because that's what monopolies do. And these antitrust bills, they're not going to solve every issue in the digital rights space. No single piece of legislation will, but it will really blow open the door when it comes to innovation on the internet and the type of internet we want to see because it stops a lot of these monopolistic practices. So please, antitrustsummer.com. I have COVID, folks, and I'm based.
See, you know what? They tried to slow you down, Ron. They tried to interrupt the message. You know, the monopolies are coming after you.
I was noticing that. I'm like, what happened?
Right?
Very, very important. Municipal broadband.
That's true. Also, and I know you've been a fighter for that too in your area.
Yeah, I've been a fighter for that in my area, and also just nationally as much as I can. It's a pretty big uphill climb, but I'm sticking with it. I'm sticking to it, and this is just the most recent fight. We have a chance at winning here. We gotta take it. We gotta do everything we can. We gotta scream. We gotta be loud. Antitrustsummer.com.
And by the way, if Chuck Schumer does this, then guess what? He's actually going to get credit. He's going to get credit and might actually be able to use it to make a case for his reelection. Hey guys, I delivered for you. I made sure to break up these big tech monopolies to protect you, to protect the consumer. That's turns out kind of populist. Might actually be good for your campaign.
Everybody who does commerce on the internet will be thrilled by this.
Absolutely.
So I mean, it's going
no reason not to.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to make Amy Klobuchar look good. It's going to make Chuck Grassley look good. It's going to make Senator Blumenthal look good. Basically everybody behind these bills and everyone who supports these bills, it'll make them all look good. It's just going to angry a couple really powerful big tech lobbyists. That's why, otherwise we'd have it already. And they know this. So, yeah, antitrustsummer.com, please.
All right. Thank you, Ron, for your time. Hopefully you feel better.
Yeah,
soon.
And if I could, real quick, Jeff, before I get out of here,
sure.
I did have to postpone my Iceland dates, but I do still have some dates in the Northwest with Graham Elwood, July 28th, Portland, Oregon, July 29th, Seattle, Washington, July 30th, Vancouver, British Columbia, romplacone.com for those tickets. I'm bummed out to be missing some shows, folks, so I'm really excited to get back out there and get to the shows in the Northwest, so I can't wait to see you there, romplacone.com for tickets. And, Jeff, thank you so much for highlighting this issue. I know there's a million things we need to cover, so thank you so much for including this. It is very important, and please, everybody, antitrustsummer.com.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah, let's do it. Let's break up big tech and maybe help save democracy.
Maybe. One step at a time, huh?
One step at a time. All right, thank you, Ron. We'll see you later. For everybody else, we've got a ton of show left to do, so we're going to take a quick break. We're going to set back up for the main show. We're going to get right to it. So everybody stay here, and we'll be back. Ron, thank you again.
Jeff. Thank you
much.
We'll
see you later. Bye. All right, so let's get that off the screen, and let's go. around the nation, Waldorf Nation. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the show. So I just realized that I had my audio like completely off the whole time. So I was like, okay, yeah, I'll put in some music for them, you know, have them listen, you know, to just some tunes or whatever. And then, oh, I actually forgot to put it on. So there was literally no music. Wow. Well done. Nailed it. Nailed it, Jeff. Nailed it. Let me just say this.
There's insanity in the control room.
Yeah, okay. So, but look, we're back. We have, like I said, plenty of stuff to go over. We have some of the new stuff from January 6th. And so, why don't we get to it, because we've wasted enough time. I've wasted enough time. So, let's dive in. All right. On Tuesday, a special session of the January 6th committee was convened over new testimony from a former aide to Trump White House Chief of Staff, Mark Meadows. Originally planning to reconvene in mid-July, the committee received evidence that apparently was so damning that it couldn't even wait. In fact, this comes from Cassidy Hutchinson, who says that Donald Trump knew that people at his rally that were going to walk down to the Capitol had weapons and didn't care at all. In fact, here is that video.
In this particular instance, it wasn't the capacity of our space, it was the mags and the people that didn't want to come through. And that's what Tony had been trying to relay to him that morning. You know, it's not the issues that we encountered on the campaign. We have enough space, or they don't want to come in right now. They have weapons that they don't want confiscated by the Secret Service, and they're fine on the mall. They can see you on the mall, and they want to march straight to the Capitol from the mall.
And just to be clear, so he was told again in that conversation, or was he told again in that conversation, that people couldn't come through the mags because they had weapons?
Correct.
And that people, his response was to say they can march to the Capitol from the ellipse.
Something to the effect of, take the effing mags away, they're not here to hurt me, let them in, let my people in, they can march to the Capitol after the rally's over, they can march from the ellipse, take the effing mags away, then they can march to the Capitol.
They're not here to hurt me. Okay, it's fine. What do I care? Weapons? Yeah, of course they can bring all the weapons they want as long as they're not going to use it against me. No, if they're going to go after my political enemies, then hell yeah, get rid of the mags, the magnetometers, the weapon scanners, and let them in. Just let them go right to the Capitol. I mean, look, there it is. There it is. Again, if that's not evidence that he was more than happy to have a violent coup, I don't know what is. Absolutely a violent coup. That same witness said that Trump wanted to join them, and there were multiple people that had known about this that were telling him, don't go, don't let him go, don't let him go. You can't, don't, no. You can't go. Why is that? Now, he wanted to go so bad to stand with the people that, you know, he wanted to have them bring in weapons, guns, clubs, flagpoles with sharpened tips, all of that. They already knew. And he wanted to go stand with them and march to the Capitol with them. Gee, I don't know what that sounds like. Maybe an insurrection. Huh. Weird. Very, very strange. Now, he was apparently so irate that he had already allegedly lunged for the steering wheel of a limousine that he could, so that he could drive himself to the Capitol and join the riot, that he had even put his hands around a Secret Service driver's throat. So, I mean, that's incredible. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing? Okay. And so we've got the Republican response, of course, saying things like, oh, most of the people that I know, they don't really care about what happened on January 6th. They don't really care. You're just basically saying that we agree with it. We think that we should have a fascist takeover, that we should take over the United States and not, give a damn about the Constitution, not give a damn about rule of law, and just come in and take power. Well, that says a lot about you. That says that what you are is a fascist. And that, again, it's super, super clear exactly what you want. And so you're saying, well, I don't really care. Most of the people I know don't care. Well, then you and most of your friends, the people that you know, are both locked into a bubble of, right-wing disinformation, ignorance, call it what you will, but that you're also saying, I don't care as long as the people that I want are in power. I don't give a damn. Rule of law, who cares? Who cares? I hate this country. I hate what it stands for, and I'm going to take it over. And I'm going to join the guy who wants to take it over. And that's pure and simple. That's their message. That's all they care about. So, just in case you don't know exactly who these guys are, they are telling you who they are. They're telling you who they are. And maybe we should listen. And more importantly, maybe we should crack down on the actual fascists. But of course, unfortunately, Democrats aren't going to do anything like that. As far as I know, maybe I'll be surprised to see Merrick Garland grow a spine, but we'll see. That said, the internet responded to some of these new details. One person says, this isn't a smoking gun, it's a bomb crater. Well, we'll see. Certainly very, very important, adding to the case that Donald Trump knew that there was a violent attempt to take the Capitol, which they were never going to hold, for one. But even so, they're going to try to take the Capitol, and that was going to be used as a distraction to try to make sure that Trump and his phony fake electors can then just hand the presidency over to an illegitimate president. And that's it. Simple as that. Another person says, if you still support Trump, you're not an American. You're a traitor. And you know what? Absolutely. Another person says, yes, because Trump is a malignant narcissist. Nothing actually exists other than their ego. No one exists other than to feed their ego. This is why you don't put personality disordered people in positions of power. Now, unfortunately, of course, that seems to be all we put into power. And then finally, Trump accepting reality that he lost has invoked his Project Big Lie. If I'm going down, I'm taking you all with me. Mass destruction and suffering inflicted unless America wakes up and eliminate him entirely. Meaning, of course, making sure to punish him for what he has done and to make sure that he cannot try to usurp power again. And then adds, prosecute all responsible for 1/6/21 insurrection. Simple as that. If they actually did that, that would be great. That would actually be what we need to do as a country. Unfortunately, I'm skeptical. Even though we have all of this information out there, it still is up to people like Merrick Garland to actually do the thing that they're supposed to do their jobs. And I'm just not convinced that they're up to actually doing that. We live in very, very dangerous times. All right. Moving on. We got more. On Tuesday, former Trump White House aide Cassidy Hutchinson testified that former President Donald Trump was so upset about Attorney General William Barr dismissing his claims of widespread election fraud that he got mad and threw his lunch. Hutchinson recalled hearing noise from down the hall shortly after Barr's interview with the AP went live, in which Barr said, and by the way, this is really important context before I get into that. William Barr was a Donald Trump toady He was there to protect Donald Trump against impeachment. He had written a letter to ensure that he got hired as Attorney General by the Trump White House. He wanted that position. And then at the end of the day, though, he was not willing to lie, at least about this, and to hand over the presidency, the country, to Donald Trump. So I think that's really interesting. So let's get to her testimony about this. Take a look.
Around the time that I understand the AP article went live, I remember hearing noise coming from down the hallway, so I poked my head out of the office, and I saw the valet walking towards our office. He had said, "Get the chief down to the dining room, the president wants him." So Mark went down to the dining room and came back to the office a few minutes later. After Mark had returned, I left the office and went down to the dining room, and I noticed that the door was propped open and the valet was inside the dining room changing the tablecloth off of the dining room table. He motioned for me to come in and then pointed towards the front of the room near the fireplace mantle and the TV, where I first noticed there was ketchup dripping down the wall and there's a shattered porcelain plate on the floor. The valet had articulated that the president was extremely angry at the Attorney General's AP interview and had thrown his lunch against the wall, which was causing them to have to clean up. So I grabbed a towel and started wiping the ketchup off of the wall to help the valet out. And he said something to the effect of, "He's really ticked off about this. I would stay clear of him for right now. He's really, really ticked off about this right now."
So, all right, I guess we should go with the nonsense point first. What kind of baby throws his lunch at the wall because he's mad? Oh, I'm sorry. Is the little baby, is he mad? Is he mad that William Barr actually called out the bullshit? Are you mad? Are you triggered, Donald Trump? Are you very easily triggered? Because that's what it sounds like.
Bullshit.
It's exactly what it sounds like. It is a Trump tantrum, and this guy again throws tantrum whenever he does not get his way. This is what he does. This is what he acts like. And it's funny because they say the right wing, like, we have such a strong leader in Donald Trump. He is so strong. He's an alpha male. Does that sound like alpha male stuff to you? Honestly? Not being able to hold your shit together? And instead throwing your lunch like a spoiled child? No, you know what that sounds like? Beta male. That's what it sounds like. He is an absolute snowflake. He's one of the saddest, most pathetic people in the world. And again, for the last couple of years, he has been crying, whining, nonstop about an election that he lost. Oh, they stole the election from me. I'm so sad. After he tried to overthrow that election. He is a baby. Absolutely sad, pathetic. And this is the guy the conservatives put up as a real man. Well, that explains a lot, doesn't it? That explains a hell of a lot of who they actually are. My God. And Hutchinson also added that it wasn't the first time she'd heard Trump losing his temper. Of course, she said that there were several times throughout my tenure with the chief of staff that I was aware of him either throwing dishes or flipping the tablecloth. Literal man-child. Total man-child. This is who you wanted to run the country? This is who you think is going to make America great again? Yeah, as one of our viewers on Twitch points out, only weak men think Trump is a strong man. Yeah, and it gets me to how a lot of right-wingers are authoritarians themselves. Because what they do is they line up behind somebody that's strong. You know, they line up to give Trump their banana. And that's essentially what it is. Daddy Trump, Daddy Trump. Here, take this. Take my banana. Please. Daddy, please protect me. He's not protecting a goddamn thing. Except for himself. It's sad. All right, one more thing here, by the way. Trump has responded to this testimony. I've got at least one of his truths over on True Social. Let me pull that up. I love this because this is a classic Trump defense. I hardly know who this person is. Cassidy Hutchinson is, other than I heard very negative things about her, total phony and a leaker. And when she requested to go with certain others of the team to Florida after my having served a full term in office, I personally turned her request down. Wait. I thought you said you didn't know her. Or no, I'm sorry, you hardly know her. Why did she want to go with us if she felt we were so terrible? I understand that she was very upset and angry that I didn't want her to go or be a member of the team. She is bad news. I mean, look, again, there it is. Barely knew her. Coffee girl. It's a coffee girl. I barely knew who she was, except that I personally shut her down. Look, that response makes it very, very clear that what she's been saying is absolutely true. The response tells you everything. All right. Let's move on from Trump. Let's go to other people who hate America. So let's get into Lauren Boebert. Oh, I thought that he only has the best people. Yeah, I know. It's weird because every time he says he has the best people, he fires them. Weird how that works out. All right. Representative Lauren Boebert is openly saying how much she hates America, hates the First Amendment, and thinks that we should be a theocracy.
The reason we had so many overreaching regulations in our nation is because the church complied. The church is supposed to direct the government. The government is not supposed to direct the church. That is not how our founding fathers intended it. And I'm tired of this separation of church and state junk that's not in the Constitution. It was in a stinking letter, and it means nothing like what they say it does.
So, obviously, she's 100% wrong, and furthermore, she's 100% un-American. She is anti-American. She is an extremist. She's spouting extremist views. She is saying that are things that are antithetical to the Constitution that she had sworn to uphold. And I furthermore say that she should not be allowed to serve in office. Period. Here's why. The separation of church and state is a founding value of this country. Freedom of religion and freedom from religion. I mean, again, we are not a theocracy. We are a constitutional republic. And what she is basically she is a traitor to the entire idea of freedom and self-determination. What she wants is her religion front and center. She wants her religion running public life. That's what she wants. She wants it featured in the public square, led by elected officials. She wants it taught in our schools, public schools funded by taxpayer money. And most importantly, she wants its rules to be our laws. That's anti-American. And I don't care if you're religious. I don't care what religion that you subscribe to. Okay? I don't care what newsletter you subscribe to either. I believe in your freedom to practice in your home. I believe in your freedom to practice your religion with your family, in your church, even in public, of course, with like-minded people. But you do not have the freedom to force anyone else to believe in or practice your religion. The First Amendment says we shall not establish a religion. That means we shall have no state-sponsored religions. The Free Exercise Clause protects citizens' right to practice their religion as they please, so long as it does not run afoul of public morals or what the government calls a compelling governmental interest. That basically means things like we can't have human sacrifice, we can't have revenge killings, and apparently, somehow, for some reason, no polygamy. Hey, look, again, I don't care if you're polygamous. That's not my thing. But apparently, there's not a good governmental interest for that, to allow that. But also, things like no child brides. All right, that's good. Now, I mentioned child brides because recently Republicans in Tennessee tried to legalize child brides. I'm not kidding. And look, this is a good example because it's not about freedom. It's not about freedom. It's not about freedom of religion. It's actually just more about control. And so the right-wing plan is to control them when they're young, to indoctrinate them, to force them, especially women, to become mothers at a young age so that they're too busy to think for themselves. That's what this country is heading to under people like Lauren Boebert and members of the radical, extremist right-wing Supreme Court. Simple as that. She went on by saying, "Glory to God. Think about that. 49 years of Roe v. Wade, 63 million children lost. What about the millions already here that you raged for months, couldn't get baby formula? You want to talk about the 63 million ghost babies? What about the ones who couldn't afford formula? What about the millions of mothers who can't get help for food assistance? They can't get clean water. What about the millions of girls who are now going to have less rights, who now have less rights than their mothers?" And she said, "And because God called a man who was not a politician to run for office, and I believe that he was anointed for that position." So here we go. We've got the, Donald Trump is basically Jesus argument, which is disgusting, which is sickening. I can't believe she would actually believe that, much less anybody else. Complete and utter insanity. Yeah, what is that? That is called false idols right there. That's idol worship. Didn't the Bible warn against that? Warn against believing in false prophets, false idols? Well, Lauren Boebert, you've got a lot of explaining to do because there's no, prophet that is more false than someone like Donald Trump. But she continues, "He answered that call despite what other people were saying, despite all the negatives that they were listening and saying how unqualified he was, because he is. He said, I think I could do something good for this nation, right? And 3 Supreme Court justices were installed. One of those seats was stolen, the other was immediately filled, despite being an election year. Now, they don't care about the laws of this country. They don't care about the norms. They don't care about precedent. They don't fight by the rules because they don't believe the rules apply to them. Which is why, of course, that other Supreme Court seat, remember, they're like, oh, we can't fill that because we're too close to an election. Then immediately after Ruth Bader Ginsburg died, they're like, close to an election? Let's fill it immediately. Let's fill it right now. And that's exactly what they did. So, hypocrisy be thy name. But understand, when you're fighting people who don't believe in the Constitution, they only believe in their religion, right? And again, remember, in the hierarchy of things, God is up here, the Constitution is down here. The laws of our nation are down here. So what they're going to do is they're going to do everything that they can to accumulate and grab power. And this has been a very, very long, goal in mind. This has been a long plan that has been enacted over decades and decades to go and get into these positions of power and turn our country into a theocracy, into a theocratic oligarchy. And that's exactly where we're ending up today. So I guess when you're fighting with people, against people who don't believe in this, in the very country, who don't believe in the rules, follow the Constitution, then maybe it's time to fight on their level and fight dirty. But not for the wrong reasons, but for the right reasons, to actually fight to preserve our country, because literally the entire idea of America is at stake. Okay. Let's go to people who are not fighting. By the way, before I go further here, I just want to thank left flank vets for the raid earlier. I did not get time to point that out, but thank you. And all of you that are on Twitch, please give us a follow. I'm on fire today, so let's keep going. All right. With the Theocratic extremist Supreme Court having eliminated reproductive rights in this country, the Democratic-controlled White House is facing some pressure to actually do something. I know, what a crazy idea. Let's do something. Now, some of the ideas presented, is basically calling on the Biden administration to use federal power, okay, to use this power to protect people's rights in the states that have already banned abortion. So some of the ideas, one of them came from Senators Elizabeth Warren, and others came from Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and they have suggested things like using federal land to provide access to abortion in these red states where it is now outlawed. So now, Warren told the Washington Post, quote, they could put up tents, have trained personnel, be there to help people who need it. It's time to declare a medical emergency. And during a Friday rally in New York City, Ocasio-Cortez urged the Biden administration to, again, open abortion clinics on federal land in red states. They could do it on military bases, for example, an effort that would involve using the Defense Department and Veterans Affairs facilities. So this is one way that they could guarantee abortion and not run afoul of some of these state bans. And that's just several of the baby steps they're urging the administration to take as, again, the babiest of all baby steps in AOC's words. She also suggested things like that maybe we should try to restrain judicial review. We should pack the court. We should expand education and access to Plan C. Repeal the Hyde Amendment. Hold floor votes codified in Griswold, Obergefell, Lawrence, Loving, etc., and vote on another bill that protects these clinics that are left. Now, there's another idea that doesn't get talked about, and this is to do maybe a women's strike. I mean, look, if all you pro-choice women organize a day to walk off the job, to not participate in this economy, grind it to a halt, well, that might get some people's attention. Because again, a lot of the people in power really only care so much about their stocks. The stock market, their investment portfolios. If you disrupt that, who knows? They might actually try to do something. But no, those are just some ideas on how we fight back and protect women's rights, and as well as, of course, the rights of trans people, the rights of anyone with a uterus who is affected by this. So now, I want to show you here what the administration plans to do. Vice President Harris recently was interviewed. Let's take a look.
I think that what is most important right now is that we ensure that the restrictions that the states are trying to put up that would prohibit a woman from exercising what we still maintain is her right, that we do everything we can to empower women to not only seek but to receive the care where it is available.
Is federal land one of those options?
I mean, it's not right now what we are discussing, but I will say that when I think about what is happening in terms of the states, we have to also recognize, Dana, that we are 130 odd days away from an election, which is going to include Senate races, right? Part of the issue here is that the court has acted, now Congress needs to act. But if you count the votes, don't appear to have the votes in the Senate. Well, there's an election happening in 130 odd days. I'm taking, for example, thinking of a Senate race in Georgia or North Carolina. There's the Senate race coming up just in a couple weeks in Colorado. And we need to change the balance and have pro-choice legislators who have the power to make decisions about whether this constitutional right will be in law, right? We say codified, put it in law so that there will be no ambiguity about it.
So basically, vote harder. Oh, okay, that's the plan. Again, outside of medication being more accessible, which great, that's a good thing. Please do so. By the way, that's a half measure. It should have always been accessible. But the plan is just vote harder in the election. Look, I'm not saying don't vote, obviously, of course, right? But that's not a plan. It's not a real plan. That's putting it all on us. How is it that we, the American people, actually have to do all the work while those in power seem to not be doing any of the work? You see, we turn out, we vote you into power, we fundraise, we donate, we go out there and we campaign for you, knock on doors, and you get into power, and then you tell us, hey, there's nothing we can do. Look, it's the mansion, it's cinema, it's the parliamentarian, it's the court. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? I mean, I don't know. Maybe we can ignore the court. Yeah, it's probably not legal. Sure. But look, at this point, I'm pretty sure the court has proven itself to be illegitimate and politically motivated. So, I mean, one seat was stolen because Republicans refused to even give it a hearing. That's Merrick Garland's seat, citing, of course, the election, and then replaced a justice who died closer to another presidential election. Oh, weird. Now, again, I know this is a radical idea, but remember, when it comes to the right wing, they don't even follow their own rules. So, I'm just saying, not only that, but you also had 3 justices that lied under oath to get on the court in the first place. Those are the justices that made this decision. So I guess, you know what? If they're going to lie to get on the court, then we might as well just ignore their ruling. Again, they don't care about precedent. They don't care about rules. They don't care about norms. They don't care about anything. They are absolutely hypocritical in this. And so what do you do when the other side does not value rule of law, but then uses the left's adherence to civility and normality to usurp the law? How do you fight that? How do you fight within the confines of a system that they don't even believe in? Because it's clear that they don't believe in the Constitution. What they are serving is something else, and that something else is their fundamentalist religion. Their interpretation of religion. Understand that that comes first to them. It is up here. The rule of law and the Constitution are down here. They will lie, they will cheat, they will steal, they will be hypocrites. As long as they are serving their God, they are fundamentalists. And they are running the country. That is deeply, deeply un-American. And their theocratic fascism needs to be stamped out. And I guess if we need to do a few things that they consider to be radical in order to restore the rule of law and this country, then I guess that's what we need to do. Now, so far, unfortunately, we're not going to go in that direction in the White House. No, not with this White House, because as Biden had put it, nothing will fundamentally change. No packing of the court. Oh, Republicans will do it. Well, then when we get into power, we'll pack it even more. We'll keep packing and packing. Because that's what we have to do to protect people. Understand that there are people that care more about civility, that are caring, more about process than actually doing the right thing, protecting people's rights. They're sitting there saying, oh, we care more about the filibuster because, Republicans might use it against us later, that we're just going to allow women to be stripped of their rights, that we're going to allow religion to take over. There's another Supreme Court, actually 2 recent Supreme Court rulings, one today, that continue to further break down the separation of church and state. Lauren Boebert saying, yes, we should have, religion that is running the government. This is a theocratic fascist takeover, and people are not taking this seriously and are not doing what is necessary to protect our country, to protect our Constitution and our way of life. It is the weakness that bothers me. And so understand who we are fighting, okay? Understand who we're fighting. And understand people who say they're going to fight for us, they're fundraising. And the reason they haven't done anything is because they are fundraising. Well, what good is that going to do when democracy is dead and the fascists have taken over and are systemically gutting your rights one by one? The right wing wants gay and trans people dead. That's what they want. They want evangelical Christianity as the official government religion. They don't want women to have equal rights. They don't want black and brown people to have any rights. And yet the stakes have never been higher. But here we have Joe Biden, who is failing to meet the moment. And Vice President Harris is somehow even weaker when it's her rights specifically as a woman and a person of color that are under assault. In fact, the response to this, after Harris's interview aired, an unnamed White House official then talked to Insider and said that while this federal lands proposal is well-intentioned, it could put women and providers at risk. They're already at risk. They're already at risk. In those states that have banned abortion already, that had the trigger laws that are working, they're already at risk. And then they added, and more importantly, in states where abortion is now illegal, women and providers who are not federal employees could potentially be prosecuted. Well, then you know what? Why not have Merrick Garland and the Justice Department come in to defend them? Besides, as Vox's Li Zhu explains, because federal lands are not subject to state civil laws, and there's room to interpret criminal laws, clinics could theoretically establish themselves on places like military bases without having to deal with state bans. And Zhao cites Kiara Bridges of UC Berkeley Center on Reproductive Rights and Justice, who said last month that even though the land is inside the border of a state, it would not be governed by the laws of the state. There's your justification. There it is. It's right there. Hey, this is federal land. What are you going to do? This belongs to us. And we believe that you should have the right to an abortion. Are they going to do so? No. Because there's no reason not to do this unless you don't want to. Simple as that. All right. We got more. A Republican lawmaker accidentally told the truth during a rally, a Trump rally over the weekend. Take a look.
President Trump, on behalf of all the MAGA patriots in America, I want to thank you for the historic victory for life in the Supreme Court yesterday.
That was Representative Mary Miller of Illinois. Victory for white life, everybody! Now look, obviously the most telling part of that is the fact that so many people were cheering. Hey, oh yeah, woo! White lives, yeah, victory for white lives. Now look, that pretty much admits that, yeah, they love what she said. You know what that means? They're racist. And look, here's the thing, too. If this isn't a surprise, we know Republicans are racist. Look, remember Steve King from Iowa, who, by the way, was too openly racist for the Republican Party just a couple of years ago, saying we can't restore Western civilization with someone else's babies. Western civilization is just code words for white. That's what it is. And so the crowd, they hear that and they think, yes, oh, I love it. Do you want to tell me that they're not racist? No, what they want, and when you look into their plan, you know that this is what they want: forced birth. Forced birth among white women so that they, white people, do not become outnumbered. Remember, that's their big fear, right? Look, the majority of Republicans now believe in the Great Replacement theory. You know, that the left, backed by George Soros, is somehow shipping in immigrants in order to replace white people. That's what they believe. That is a deeply anti-Semitic conspiracy theory that has been spread and, again, believed by the majority of the right wing. So now, if you're a right-winger and you're sitting there and you're worried about the lower white birth rates in this country, what would seem like the logical choice? It's not to allow immigrants in to counter the low birth rates. No. Because look, here's the thing. Historically, that's what other countries do to counter low birth rates. They allow an influx of immigrants, and that generally makes the country more prosperous. But the right-wing plan, the conservative plan, is to ban abortions, ban contraception, which Thomas, by the way, said he already wants to look at, ban gay marriage, of course, and here's the thing, the irony is that, yes, minorities will also be forced to have children. But understand, considering how white people are still a majority in this country, increasing the birth rates of white people will ensure that they stay a majority. And you also have to look at the unequal healthcare in America, right? Minorities tend to die more often to complications with pregnancy and birth. In fact, in the US, the CDC reported that black women experience maternal mortality 2 to 3 times higher than that of white women. In fact, the estimated national maternal mortality rate in the United States is about 17 per 100,000 live births, but it's 43 per 100,000 live births for black women. So, furthermore, and there are reasons for this, of course, data from the CDC pregnancy surveillance study shows that these higher rates of black maternal mortality are due to higher fatality rates, not a higher number of cases. Since the usual cases of maternity mortality are conditions that occur or are exacerbated during pregnancy, most instances of maternal mortality are preventable deaths. So right-wingers will look at this and say, oh, forcing minorities also to have more pregnancies, to give birth, makes more of them die? Wonderful! Yes, let's do it. Good, they say. Yes, ban abortion. Yes, make healthcare even more unavailable to black women. Force them to continue to be in poverty. And then, when they get pregnant, we can watch them die. That's it. It's exactly what they want. It is what they want. It is what they've been hoping for. They don't care at all about life. Banning safe abortion, yes, will increase white birth rates and kill more black people. This is who they are. This is who they really are. Now, Miller's spokesperson, however, Isaiah Wortman, comes out and tells the AP that she misread her prepared speech and was supposed to declare the victory a right for life. Quote, you can clearly see it in the video. She's looking at her papers and looking at her speech. No, I don't buy it at all. No, she probably looked at it and thought, that's better than what I was supposed to say. Oh, I like that. Ooh, yeah. Victory for white life. Yeah, let's go with it. And you know what? It worked because guess what? The crowd went wild. Wild. They loved everything that she was saying. And by the way, this is not the first time Miller has been scrutinized for things that she had said in her speeches. Last year, she was forced to apologize. Note forced. When quoting Hitler. She said, quote, Hitler was right on one thing. Uh-oh. Whoever has the youth has the future. Because, of course, you know, she's going to, quote, worst person in history. That's what she's going to do. She says, later on, she says, I sincerely apologize for any harm my words caused and regret using a reference to one of the most evil dictators in history to illustrate the dangers that outside influences can have on our youth. No, I'm not buying it at all. Her only regret was being too open about it. And that's really it. $10 says she has a copy of Mein Kampf in their house somewhere. I can almost guarantee it. Because that's who these people are. They are theocratic fascists. And I will never forget the quote. That when fascism comes to America, it will be wrapped in the flag and carrying a cross. I wish we knew who to credit for saying that. It's been falsely attributed to so many different people. Sinclair Lewis, Upton Sinclair, H.L. Mencken, others. But let me tell you this. Let me say this. All right? Whoever said it, 100% correct, because that is literally what has happened right now. All right. One more story. Let's go to Giuliani. Let me readjust that here. Okay. Former Mayor Rudy Giuliani claims that he was the victim of a vicious attack. In fact, during a campaign rally for his son at a local ShopRite grocery store, a worker slapped Giuliani in the back and called him a scumbag. I want to show you this video, and then we'll get to his outrageous response. Take a look. Oh my God. Oh no. And that was it. Wow. I know. Now, the American hero, of course, featured in the video is Daniel Gill. And Gill, get this, he was charged by police with felony assault because the victim is older than 65. Felony assault, everybody. Felony assault. Now, of course, the Staten Island District Attorney Office decided instead to, lower the charges to a misdemeanor assault plus 2 other misdemeanors for menacing and harassment. Really? Now, Gill also told him that his stance on Roe will kill women, of which, of course, he is absolutely correct. Nonetheless, here is Giuliani. I'm going to show you a video here, part of his response, where he just goes absolutely full authoritarian.
About a third of the way through, I got hit on the back as if a boulder hit me. It knocked me forward a step or two. It didn't knock me down, but it hurt tremendously. I did not know what it was. I had no idea what it was. And all of a sudden, I heard someone yell at me something I can't repeat about what I am. Curse words, dirty curse words, and then some more dirty curse words, and then a few more dirty, as he retreated, ran away. And then he turned around and he said that I was a woman killer. You kill women, your party kills women.
All right, so that's his response. Oh, you know, I could have fallen. You could have killed me. It was like a boulder. It was like a boulder. All that force. Oh, the pain. The pain. It was so terrible. No, really? No. Okay, Snowflake. Sorry, Snowflake. No, here's the thing. So, these are the people that routinely attack the left as being snowflakes. Soy boys, beta males. You're not manly at all. No, you're not man. No, you're soy boys. This guy literally gets a tap on the back, and suddenly he's calling for an arrest. And that's, of course, him going full authoritarian. I've got that quote on that later. In fact, he says, he hit me to knock me down. If that doesn't merit jail time in New York, we're in the Wild Wild West. He also said, let's make an example out of him because this is going on too much all around the country. Yeah, from the far right. And that's what this is. Okay? The far right menaces and attacks pride parades, pride events. Police attack peaceful pro-choice marchers. A couple of weeks ago, I showed you a video. 79-year-old man going into a local Republican event and getting attacked, getting slapped and pushed and knocked to the ground, literally knocked to the ground, and then thrown out by Blake Masters. So, who had put his hands on this man's neck. All of that. And yet Giuliani, he thinks, oh no, the real violence is somebody smacking me on the back and calling me a scumbag. Oh, okay, yeah, sure. Look, I'm not interested in Rudy Giuliani's crocodile tears, especially since the video is pretty clear that, no, it wasn't nearly hard enough to push him over. Come on. Come on. His only fall risk is when, you know, Giuliani drinks too much. So Gill's lawyer, Susan Plattis, told the judge in Staten Island criminal court the slap, quote, appears to be a tap in the back and that the only threat came afterward when someone with Giuliani followed him, poked him in the chest, and threatened him. While Assistant District Attorney Darren Albanese said Giuliani complained of substantial pain in his back, took a step forward, losing his balance, and might need to see a doctor. Oh, come on. Come on. Bullshit. Bullshit. Plattis notes that the video of the encounter is actually not helpful to the prosecution. Quote, I think it actually shows a tap on the back, which is not criminal conduct. There is no intent here to harm anyone. Giuliani may have been surprised and stunned being touched in the back. And again, I'm not somebody who likes being touched, so I understand that. But is that assault? No. She added that he's a public figure, Your Honor being spoken to and things being said to him should be of no surprise and should be anticipated. Yeah. That right there, this reminds me of Michael Tracy. Remember when Michael Tracy apparently got hit so hard by Maxine Waters He's like, what hurts? Oh, Maxine Waters assaulted me. No, you're crying. That's what it is. Crying. This is more right-wing people making themselves victims by crying about the tiniest little things. It really is. While literally stripping away rights from people and pushing economically violent policies that harm people in poverty, that prevent them from getting healthcare, food, housing, etc. And not only that, but putting targets on the backs of every gay and transgender person by pushing laws that basically criminalize being gay and trans and falsely smearing them as groomers. There is actual violence being perpetrated against gay and trans people all over the country. That's real political violence. What this is nothing. This is nothing but Rudy Giuliani crying. Well, cry more, dude. Cry more. Not buying it. All right. That's all I got today. So, all right. Republicans cry more than my neighbor's 2-year-old. Yep. There you go. All right. So, here we go. That's all I've got. Thank you. I'm going to read some super chats before I head out. Let's see. Jedi Dragon Protector, becoming a member for 32 months. Really appreciate that. Doing the right thing. Such a foreign concept. You would be surprised. Actually, you're not surprised. Because you know what's going on. Marty Darna says, much love, Jeff, for keeping the show running, and even more love for the chat, for always coming back for more. Again, I really appreciate that. I've gotten some pushback for the video that I did with Ravana, calling out the Democrats doing nothing but fundraising. A lot of people not happy with the comments here. You know, actually calling out Democrats for being do nothing. So, you know, you get it from all sides. You really do. Gabby Mathis says, as Anna Kasparian says, my body, my choice. No religion. Not religion. I assume that you said, but yes, absolutely. Her rant is going viral again, which is awesome. I really appreciate that. Let's see. Boulder Crypto Sissy Dragon says, preach it, brother. And then adds, we need more of this. Agreed. Jonathan Leiter says, the future is cafe au lait. Not sure what that means. Frog Wizard of Random Profundity says, here's a $5. Had a rare good money month, so boom. Well, thank you. I'm really, really glad that you're doing well and that you are spreading the love. Really, really appreciate that. Once again, thank you to Left Flank Vets for the raid earlier and all the new follows. Really appreciate that. Kelly Fox, thank you for resubbing for a month of Tier 1 for 2 months. Said was looking forward to this all afternoon. Not going to lie. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Very much so. Ravaging Wolverine says, 20 months. Thank you for resubbing with Prime. By the way, if you have Prime, you can go and basically give Jeff Bezos' money to me. I'm the better Jeff anyway. So, you know, the more of his money that goes to me, the better. Because maybe then, maybe I can become richer than Jeff Bezos and then destroy him. Economically, of course. And then, you know, give money to the Amazon unions. Someday. All right. For everybody else, though, again, thank you for the new follows. Really appreciate that as well. That was 100% an old country pat in the back. He's a crying snowflake, period, says Amanda's miracle chipmunk milk. Yes. All right. Let's see. Yeah, that's it. Thank you all. Really, really appreciate you. Thank you. Have a great night. We're going to raid into... We got a channel going. Let's see. Yeah, let's go to Deep Dive with Jordan Yu. everybody else, thank you, love you, and remember, change begins with you. Good night, nation. We'll see you all tomorrow.
How you like that, boy?
Wet ass keyword.
Oh no!
No.
Clean coal, meaning they're taking out coal, they're going to clean it. Burmisia, they say, pronounce it Burmisia, a real beautiful company.
You're kicking me out the door. You're kicking me out the door.